Welcome to The Peak, where becoming your best self is our goal. I'm Ashley Russo. On this week's episode, a yearly event honoring amazing women in our area who support the community in so many ways. How St. Luke's provides physical therapy and awareness to women's pelvic health. And a delicious step-by-step recipe that you won't want to miss. All that and more coming up on The Peak.
Union Finch is an American-style bistro located in Allentown, Pennsylvania, serving up lunch, brunch, and dinner. Let's go see what they're cooking inside.
Shanaz and I met around 2005, got married and spent some time in the city as a married couple. In 2010, we decided to come back here and start and raise a family. I think the thing that we love about this area is the fact that it's 60 miles from Philadelphia, 90 miles from New York City. There's a lot going on here that wasn't going on when I grew up in this area, and I think it's changed for the better.
When we moved to Allentown and opened the restaurant, we had no restaurant experience whatsoever.
We grew up in large families, and whenever someone walked into our homes, it was, open arms really, and making sure that they were fed and felt at home. So for us, transitioning into this, while there was certainly a lot of learning curves, but I think we knew what we wanted to make people feel when they walked into our doors. While casual American is what it's called, there are definitely some nuances there that we've thrown in.
Our idea was something that's comforting. You're looking for a place to eat, something comforting for you. It's burger, and then we have mac and cheese.
Got some flares like Spanish style food as well. I mean, we've got a tikka masala. We really wanted to make people feel like they've got some choices that are a little bit different.
I remember sitting back when we were doing construction. I would close my eyes at the front window, and all I wanted to hear was the silverware on the plates, the glassware, the people chatting, laughing, and music. And I think we've achieved that throughout the years, and we just want to see it grow more.
We really wanted people to feel welcomed, at home, loved when they walked into this restaurant.
Customers coming for the first time, we look forward to them just to experience the whole as Union Finch. It's not just always about the food or just, it's the vibe, it's the music, it's the, the smell, the scenery.
I just want them to know that they've got a collective group of people, not only Shanaz and I, but the staff that are working extremely hard every day to make every experience for every person that sits in a seat in this restaurant the best one possible.
The Hannas have made it their goal to combine the nostalgia of a long-lost neighborhood joint with a modern bistro setting to create a casual and relaxed dining experience. I'm Katie, and that was a peek at the Valley.
I love a good burger and fries from Union and Finch. I'll have to try out their brunch sometime. Up next, we'll take a look at this year's YWCA Women of the Year recipients.
I think it's important for girls and women to have role models to look up to, because where there is no vision, it's hard for people to move forward, achieve their goals and dreams. And when you have the vision of somebody who's gone before you and achieved that, when times get hard or you feel like you can't do it, it inspires you to step up and walk into what you were purposed to do.
I think that we have such an opportunity to create positive change within our communities. It's how I show up. It's what I do each and every day just to keep driving change, keep creating positive change in our communities.
Giving back it's not a choice, it's a responsibility. It's what we need to do to make our Lehigh Valley a better place.
When we give back and pay it forward, we impact generations. We show those who are our next generation of leaders and change makers what's possible. So I will always be committed to giving back.
I am deeply passionate about YWCA's mission of eliminating racism and empowering women. The events of the previous year and years past have truly shown us a need to fight for racial justice.
The Y's mission is so important to me personally because I have 5 daughters at home who I will ensure have the access to resources so that they can have a voice and be successful in all that they do.
We are so close to New York and Philadelphia, but we have this incredible sense of community. And so I think that together we can create real change for everyone. We can create a community where everyone can thrive.
I'd like to thank the Y for choosing and selecting me, and I'd like to thank and recognize all of the awardees for being such inspirations to me.
I'm honored to be recognized as Woman of the Year, but I also feel like it's an opportunity for me to show other women and others in the community what is possible. Because you're showing another girl, you're showing another woman the power of impact and our work in serving our community. And I'm going to continue to give back and live up to this.
I love how committed the YWCA is to serving the community and the women that dedicate their time and talents to support their mission. Coming up, how the team at St. Luke's Physical Therapy offers a variety of services designed to address the special healthcare needs of women. The team at St. Luke's strives to make sure patients are comfortable as they mentor and train them through their pelvic floor therapy.
I come from a huge family, one of 6 kids. All of my family has gone on to college to play sports. I went on to play at ESU, collegiate soccer. I only played for 2 years. I didn't have the best college experience for soccer, so it kind of took the love of sports away a little bit. That's where Olympic lifting really became my just everything. I would go to the gym almost 4 hours a night. I was excited to go work out where I lost that excitement from college. And it fit me. When I was introduced into Olympic lifting, I was gonna start my first competitions within that first year. At that time is when I did find out that I had a little Olivia inside me. I was pregnant. It was actually about 3 to 4 months after I had Olivia when I started to lift again. And when you go down on these, the squats, they're very low. So as I was standing up, I was experiencing some leakage, and that's when I knew that something was a little off. I was on Instagram and I saw an actual professional Olympic lifter. She had the same issue, and I just sent her a message. Thought maybe, who knows if she'll answer. And she answered. And she said to me, it sounds like you're having pelvic floor weakness, the same as me, and I suggest you go find a women's health pelvic floor specialist for physical therapy. Went on to Google, researched it, and Kylene's name popped right up, and she was the first click.
Your pelvic floor muscles are deeply interconnected with your core, your abdominal muscles, your postural muscles, and they have a lot of really important functions. So they help to physically support your pelvic organs, they help with controlling your bowel and bladder, they help to stabilize your pelvic joints, and they help with your sexual function as well. Maureen is a higher level athlete for sure. She worked really hard when she came in. She brought her barbell into treatment sessions with her so that we could specifically break down parts of her Olympic lifts and work on engaging her core and her pelvic floor to help her be successful with that.
They did little probes and they used electrical current to actually measure different things and get biofeedback, which was very, very interesting. Kylene re-educated my muscles.
I would recommend someone to come to St. Luke's Physical Therapy for pelvic floor treatment because we have a great team. We have one of the biggest pelvic health teams in the area. It's a very specialized, sensitive type of treatment, and we work one-on-one with our patients, so we really get a chance to get to know them, sometimes get to know their families.
When I actually found out I was pregnant with Katie, the second baby, I told Kylene and I said, but I still want to continue with this, and she agreed. And Kylene, the second I had Kate, got everything back together and it was less leakage. I'm able to sit up on my own without grabbing onto things, and she's just really saved me.
It was great working with Maureen through both pregnancies, and then after that pregnancy we also worked a little bit more together because she was a firm believer in pelvic floor therapy.
I'm super thankful for St. Luke's. They really got me back to loving what I do and getting me back to being able to do what I love. Before that, I didn't really see how I was going to be able to lift a bar again without embarrassing myself. And they've got me back to exactly what I wanted.
Joining me today is Lauren Garges, the director of St. Luke's Pelvic Rehab Program. Thanks so much for being here, Lauren.
Sure thing.
So this is an issue that a lot of women suffer from, but they don't always want to talk about. So what are some of the most common issues that women may present when expressing, problems with their pelvic health? How do they even bring it up?
It is something that unfortunately I don't think enough people do talk about. But the issues that we often see with our patients can really run the lifespan. So we see young girls who may be experiencing pain with the onset of their period, all the way up to postmenopausal women who experience some weakness in their pelvic muscles, maybe some urinary incontinence, dropped bladders, things like that.
You mentioned that so often women think that they just need to live with it. So what is the help that's out there? And just tell us a little bit about if something like that is happening to you, where should someone go and kind of what is the therapy? What's involved?
Treatment for it, it's physical therapy. So it is kind of learning about these muscles in the pelvic area. And we actually call ourselves pelvic floor physical therapists. A lot of people don't really necessarily know what the pelvic floor is, but it's actually the best way to think of it is kind of like a sling or like a hammock of muscles that really support the structures in the very bottom of your pelvis. And these muscles need to relax. And they also need to have a decent amount of tone and strength to support our organs and our body with movement.
Tell people more about that. If they're experiencing something, how do they get in touch with you and your team to get the help that they need?
We have a pelvic health team, and these are all female physical therapists who have undergone pretty extensive additional training beyond what we learn in our schooling to treat pelvic floor dysfunction. There are 10 offices in Lehigh Valley, the Poconos, and New Jersey. Easiest way to locate an office, honestly, is to go onto our website, St. Luke's Physical Therapy, and just type in women's health. And that will bring you to all of our locations. All of our staff are listed there, so you can find the location that's closest to you. And you do not need a doctor's order or prescription. You can just, call directly and get scheduled directly.
Check out Lauren and her team over at St. Luke's and go get an evaluation. Lauren, thanks so much for being here and giving us a better understanding of women's pelvic health today. Thanks so much. Stay tuned. This is The Peak. Our community is full of artists, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Let's hear from one of our own on why they love the Lehigh Valley. Welcome everybody to Unscripted with Russo. Joining me today is Catherine Bailey. I am so excited. I have always wanted to pick Catherine's brain. I have had the pleasure of getting to know her over the last few years. And Catherine, we are so excited to have you here today. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much. I can't be more excited myself.
You have had a really amazing career. I am excited to hear a little bit more about how you became the you I know.
We moved here in 1968. My very first position out of secretarial school was with Mack Trucks when they did their year hiatus in Montvale, New Jersey. Zen Hansen was their president. And that was my very first job. And it lasted a little less than a year. But Mack Trucks moved back to Pennsylvania. I wound up having my first child. So that was that beginning. But then 3 years later, an opportunity came up for my husband in Allentown, of all places. And here we came. So it was almost a renewal, if you will. But beyond that, so from there, I raised the kids. I did the Catholic school thing. I did become executive assistant for another trucking company that was in the Valley at that point. And from there, met another person. So it's like that community of opening yourself up and listening to people and hearing the other opportunities that are out there. And luckily, I was fortunate enough to make some good choices along the way with the people that I listened to, with the opportunities that were presented to me.
Take us back to that a little bit, Catherine, because I do want to point out to people that are familiar with Beauty Blender, which I feel like you'd have to be living under a rock if you're not familiar with Beauty Blender at this point, certainly as a female. But we look at it as this amazing, well-established worldwide brand, but take us back to those early days. Where was the company at and where did it need to go? And kind of what role did you play in that?
Well, it started out with my product development role. And I had, over the years, developed a lot of connections and ability within that field of applicators. Because along with the powder puffs that Victoria Vogue did, we also had a sponge line. So of course, Rand, doing her research, would see our product, because at the time we did have a retail line, and she called the company. And because I was head of product development, that's where we connected. And I've always told the story that when she said, "Oh, I have this idea," and I said, "I've been at this a long time. I can't imagine what it is you have, but let's talk about it." And we did. And I went, "Oh my God, yes, you do."
What do you feel the Lehigh Valley sort of means to you? Why is this home? And why do you feel people should consider making this the place that they raise their families or build their businesses or get an education?
I think for the most part, it's the people, Ashley. It's the community. It's that feeling of togetherness and willingness to help each other. And, we've got big ideas with cozy, comfortable communication and relationships. So I think it's the best of both worlds.
Thank you, Catherine Bailey, for being our guest and sharing a little bit about your life. I feel like we could probably spend a couple of days at a retreat together to get all the stories, but I appreciate you taking time to give us the highlights and wonderful words of wisdom.
Thank you for the opportunity, Ashley.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. This is Unscripted with Russo. Until next time.
For the full interview, visit youtube.com/thepeaktv. And don't forget to subscribe to Unscripted with Russo on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Melba's restaurant opened its doors in 2005 and has come to be known as the premier comfort food destination in New York City. Let's take a look at how to make Melba's famous black-eyed pea stew.
Hi, I'm Melba, born, bred, and buttered in the village of Harlem. I'm super duper excited to have you here with me. We are going to be cooking up some delicious eats for you today. What are we making? We are making my favorite black-eyed pea stew. Yes, I did say black-eyed pea stew. It's the new year, and there's nothing better than starting up the new year with some black-eyed peas. After all, black-eyed peas do represent luck, and I want to make sure that we have a blessed and a lucky 2021. All right, let's get started. First, we're going to start off with some olive oil. Make sure that you have your saucepan on medium. We're going to take our olive oil and just pour it in there. I'm very dramatic, so I like to go up and down. There's not a lot of theater, so I've got to bring the theater when I'm in the kitchen. Onions. I love onions. We're going to take our onions, put those down there, and you can hear them sizzle. Garlic. Who doesn't love garlic? I think everything's better with garlic. I'm going to saute that. Just let it sizzle. Cook that down for about 2 minutes. I love the smell of onions and garlic. And normally I have a little trilogy. Normally I use onions, garlic, and green peppers or red peppers. Today we're not going to put any peppers in here, but normally that's my go-to trilogy. So I'm going to let that sit for about 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm going to take my carrots and I'm going to saute them and add them to my garlic and my onions. Just mix those in there. When you're cooking stew, sometimes you'll put meat. However, if you are not using meat, the best, something that's going to give you that same feeling and texture of a protein, mushrooms. I love mushrooms, and they're such a great substitute and very, very healthy. I love mushrooms, and mushrooms love me. It's about to be a party in my house. And now I'm just going to add a pinch of salt into my mixture. Ooh. Now we got to throw a little bit over that shoulder, a little bit over that shoulder and a little bit in the pot, right? There we go. I gotta ask my mother why we do that. And paprika. I love paprika. You know, I think I love everything over here. I just love cooking. Can you see this? Can you see how beautiful? And look at the colors that are in there. I love the orange mixed with the earthiness. Here we have Cajun seasonings, onion powder, garlic powder, and ooh, pepper. I love red pepper and thyme. And all of this is gonna go into our stew. First, I'm gonna put my vegetable broth in. I'm going to stir in some tomatoes. Ooh, look at that. And these are tomatoes, fresh tomatoes that I pureed this morning. Let me get this going in here. There we go. My Cajun seasonings are going right in there. And the great thing is that when you have all of your ingredients ready to go, you can just put them in there. That's it. Onion powder, garlic powder, red pepper. Give it a little bit of a, I'm not gonna add all that red pepper in there. And some fresh thyme, which I love. I'm gonna put all the thyme in there. There we go. The star of the dish, black-eyed peas. So we know black-eyed peas bring you luck, and they're very, very healthy for you. Anytime I can eat black-eyed peas, I do. If you're gonna have black-eyed peas, it's always a great idea to have collard greens lurking close behind. So we're gonna take our collard greens, which have been washed and cleaned, and put them right in here in our stew. Okay, everything is mixed in. I'm gonna put this bad girl on high, and we're gonna let it simmer for 1 hour. It's been about 20 minutes, so I'm gonna check in on my stew and see how it's stewing. I'm gonna plate this now. Look at those collard greens, beautiful. I'm gonna taste this. Delicious. Healthy comfort from my house to yours. A little bit of black-eyed pea stew. You can find this and other recipes in my book, Melba's American Comfort. Enjoy.
You know, you can really tell that stew is made with love every step of the way. Next time I'm in the city, I'm making a stop at Melba's. I'm Ashley Russo. Thanks for watching. To learn more about anything from today's show, go to our website at thepeaktv.com. And remember, every day is an opportunity to be your best self. This is The Peak. All that and more coming up on The Peak. Tour and train them through their pelvic. Tour and train them through their pelvic. Hello, sir. The YWCA. Kind of got it. Portions of this program were paid for by St. Luke's University Health Network. The Peak TV is a production of ASR Media.
Liked what you saw? Subscribe to our channel so you never miss another video.
To see more of The Peak TV, check out our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and catch us on WFMZ Channel 69.